you could come up with a 1/2-inch variable speed drill. You can motorize that thing pretty cheap. Welcome back, folks, to Random Rod Shop. Today we're going to dig out the old redneck bead roller and see if we can make the back panel for this cab. But first, let me take the camera down. Let me show you where we're at. In the last video, we had about an 1/8 of an inch gap between these two pieces right here. So what I did to fix that, I just went back in here and I cut this and just kind of tilted it up a little bit. I've got the rocker panel, you know, the old rocker panel on here, setting on there. Let me shut this door. Why, you know, the rocker just sitting on there. I think that's actually going to work out pretty good. Yeah, I think that's going to work out pretty good. So, I also went ahead and welded this lip on. This is what the back of the cab spot welds to. So today, we're going to see if we can fill in that hole right there. I think I'm going to break it down in two pieces, and we're going to make this cab corner itself separate from this back panel. I am pretty happy the way that turned out. I've also got the cab mount back in, so this is setting on its own weight. I don't think I can ask for anything more than that. All right, let's go take a look at the problem child. So this is the back piece I cut off. And this is pretty crusty right here. So I thought about cutting this out and just remaking this. But because I cut this out with a grinder, you know, I've got a coat hanger width there. I could weld that back up in there. But I thought, we got a bead roller. And I'll be the first to admit, I haven't tried anything like this. I'm still a newbie on a lot of this metal fab. But in case you didn't see the video on this, what I've done, that's just a Harbor Freight bead roller. And I haven't done any of the, you know, the YouTube hacks. It's just a stock Harbor Freight bead roller. Now what I wanted, I wanted it powered, so I took a General Motors starter and took the rotor out of it, you know, cut all the stuff off of it. So that's a starter drive for a small block Chevy. That's the flex plate for an automatic transmission for a small block Chevy. And that's a 1/2-inch variable speed reversible electric drill. And you can kind of see this rat's nest coming down in here. I just took the drill apart, went and got me a Harbor Freight foot pedal and kind of whacked it all up. And I put the trigger for the drill in the foot pedal. It seems to work all right. Let me mash the pedal here. And like I said, it's reversible. You got to flip the switch down here. So that's kind of the rundown. You can tell it ain't nothing fancy, but so far it seemed to work. So the trick today, let me get a little tripod and set this up. The trick today is to redneck engineer some of my dies so that it will make this lip here. And I've been playing with it. What I've come up with is these two dies. So this is I don't know, what do they call that? They call that a stepping die. And that's the standard, that's one of the standard dies that comes from Harbor Freight, the Harbor Freight set. I ordered those on Amazon. You know, you get a bunch of random shapes, round over dies. I don't know. You're gonna find out real quick. I am definitely not an expert in this field. So the idea is that is going to sit on there like so, and this comes up behind it like so, and you make your lip. The obvious problem in standard form, it doesn't make the same size lip as that. So so I've got some spacers here. Let me put this thing together, and let's see if we can get this figured out. All right, so I'm gonna stick these spacers on like so, and stick that one on there. You notice, let me set this on here. Now this is the way it's supposed to work. Those dies go on, and this is pretty much flush. The shaft is flush with the end of the die. Because this isn't quite the right die for what I'm trying to do with it. I don't have a lot of metric bolts, you know. I was watching Home Built by Jeff down in Australia, and he said he's got a Ford 1.5 ton, 2 ton. I don't know what it is he's working on. And he's like, he's converting everything to metric because he doesn't even want SAE wrenches. In my world, I don't have many metric. I don't have many metric things. So this is actually, I think, a fender bolt or something out of a Silverado. I've taken apart a couple of them, and anytime I take apart a metric, a newer vehicle, man, I cabbage onto the bolts because I don't have much metric stuff. Anyway, you got to have a longer bolt. So, let me get this in there. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to get the camera down and get underneath it and see if you can see that. There we go. So you can see the bottom. That knife edge, if you will, on the bottom is right where that bend starts. And on the top side, you can see I've got it down in there. And it looks like that's going to make the right size bend. So I've tested this on a piece of metal, and it looks close. It looks close. So I think we're going to give it a try. So I think the question at hand is, can I get this thing, marked out and get a line on there so I can follow the line. I don't know. Let me get the plate up here. I'm gonna have to think about how this thing, I'm gonna have to think about how to mark this thing out. I don't know that I don't know that I know the answer to that yet. Okay, so that's the easy part. Now you need to be really, really careful. Because how you make this is going to be what the end result looks like. So take your time. In my case, I'm going to cut on the lower level right in the corner. I've got the bead roller set up to make this bead, so my plan is to follow this line on the inner lip right there. And you might be saying, well, you're making that side. Well, I want to hopefully flip the panel over, or flip the pattern over, and it'll work. Let me see if I can cut this out. All right, let's go stick it on the metal and see what we got. All right, so the big black lines is a tracing of this, with a little bit extra room at the top and a little extra room at the bottom so I can roll that edge. But this shape is the one we need to bead roll. I better save that. We're going to need that for the other side. All right. Well, we need to get this cut out of here. And we need to allow enough room for that bead. So something like that. We'll trim it and cut it once we get it in there. The first trick is getting the bead. All right, let me get this cut out. All right, folks. Here we go. It's at this point that, deep down that if you mess it up, you got to do it again. Because there's not much recovery from this. All right, let's give it a shot. And this is pretty thick stuff. So we're going to have to do multiple passes. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make this turn. We're gonna have to flop the dies over. Unless I can make that mark on the other side. It needs to be that way. We're gonna have to flop the dies over. Well, that's gonna make this a pretty interesting process, ain't it? All right, let me flop the dies over. Well, let's see if we turn them over the right way. Well, I think that's going to work. You notice I was counting the threads up there. That way we can have some level of assurance that the bead's the same. Let's check it and see how close we are. I don't know if you can see that in there. That's actually not too bad. Not too bad at all. Let me crank it down a little, another half turn. Let me run it through there. And then we'll swap the dies again and finish, finish it up. Well, it looks like I may not have to swap them if I go this way. Let's try this. I think I want a light in there. let's see how close we are now. Needs to go again. I think that may do it, folks. You know, that didn't warp that as bad as I thought it was going to. I'm okay with that. Well, that's not that bad. That's pretty close. All right. Well, I can tell you without any stretch of the imagination, that makes me happy. Oh, yeah. Just like a kid in a candy store. Well, now, I think all I need to do is bend this bottom edge. I think I'm going to set it over there and make sure it fits. May even clamp it in place and draw on the back side so I know where the edge needs to be. Although, that side's all messed up, isn't it? There really isn't any good place to do that. Let me go ahead and clean this up to the line, because when I cut it out I left extra. And then we'll come back over and we'll bend this lip. Well, you don't need to watch me grinding. I'll come back in a minute. Thought I'd turn you back on for a minute. So in terms of rolling this edge, I found me I don't know, I think that's 1/2 inch. You want something pretty substantial. Cut you a slot in it that's about the same thickness as the sheet metal, and then just bend it just a little bit. It takes a while, but you can get a nice bend all the way around this. Let me knock some of the rough edges down. I cut this with tin snips, so let me knock some rough edges down and let me bend this thing around. I'll get back to you. Well, folks, there it is. I'm pretty happy with that. You know, the trick is it gonna fit? So let's take it around there and let's see if it's gonna fit. I think I need to go ahead and cut this corner out right here, because I think that's where it's gonna overlap. But let me check it. All right, the moment of truth, folks. Well, let's see what it looks like inside. That's the trick. See how close we got to this bead. Well, that looks pretty close. I think that will work, folks. Let me get that end cut out right there. So that thing will set up in there where it's supposed to go. Let me get the welder around here and get this thing tacked into place, and we'll cut this thing in. I can't tell you how happy that makes me. You know, every project you learn something and you gain a little bit more experience. That may not be a complicated panel for, you know, some of the metal workers, but it's a complicated panel for me. Let me get the welder around here. I just wanted you to see, yeah, I really did paint that stuff before I put it together. All right. Well, it's in. I'm pretty happy with this. That bead roller worked out pretty nice. I still got some more touch up and some more hammering and some more grinding. But I think this has been a productive day. I'll drill holes through the bottom of this and plug weld all that. Probably not gonna do that though until I figure out how to make a cab corner. Gonna learn something new. Also, it would appear that I'm gonna have to do some work on this side. I was hoping that wasn't the case, but there's a lot of mud and stuff in that rocker, so I think I'm gonna have to open that rocker up. If nothing else, just to clean it up, but I suspect I got some more work to do. But again, I'm pretty happy with that. Let me stand back here and see if I can get a broad picture of that thing. Well, I think that curve turned out pretty nice. It may be a little misleading because that black curve right there, but you can see the bent metal. Man, I think that looks good, guys. All right, I want to give you a little update on some of the other projects we got. My buddies up in Aleen had a couple of fenders. Now this one's had a little bugaboo, but I think between the pile of fenders I got, that's a pretty straightforward fix. And the black one is pretty good. Got the cab corner here, and there's a little bit of rust right on top there, but that's a pretty easy patch. So I'm pretty excited about that. Probably what I'm most excited about is this. That is a good valence panel, or a good header panel. And since my dad's truck, you know, was a 1.5 tons, it had the clearance lights up here, so there's enough material there to fix the roof. Anyway, I'm pretty excited about that. Now you guys, you know, you saw me drag in this one. I showed you that one on the trailer. While I was getting the fenders, we come up with another one. And I can tell you the floor pans and let's see if I can get a door open here. There we go. It's dirty, but the floor pans in this thing are really good. And it had all the chrome. I don't know any of you Supernatural fans. You probably know what I'm going to tell you, but there's 1, 2, 3, and there's a little one right here. 4, 5. There's 5 pieces of side chrome on these cars, and that stuff is way more expensive than I ever guessed. When I went looking for all the pieces, it's pretty amazing. The driver's side, I had the whole driver's side. It's the passenger side that was toast on all the cars. So when I was up looking at the fenders, I said, "Hey, you got some molding for the '67 Impala?" And he said, "Well, maybe." I went out looking, and I found this car here, and it's had a bugaboo, but it's got lots of good sheet metal on it. And that piece of chrome is actually in the car. So again, the driver's side is all there. And it had all but this little piece on this side. And amazingly enough, that's the passenger side. Amazingly enough, one of the few pieces of chrome on, our little more rusty car, but the one piece of chrome it has is that little bitty piece right there behind the back door. So I only have one of those, but I got multiple copies of the other chrome now. Anyway, that's why we picked up that car. It had good floorboards in it, so we should have plenty of sheet metal to get this car together. The roof, the blue car I have over at my son's house, has a good roof on it, so I'm not worried about the roof. All the rest of it, though, I think we're good to go. Well, I think that's all we got time for today. I am really happy about the bead roller. I made this because of a little project I was doing, not complicated, and I haven't used it much, but I'm pretty happy with it. It seems to work out pretty good. Anyway, if you're interested in bead rolling, and you can come up with a 1/2-inch variable speed drill, you can motorize that thing pretty cheap. All right, well, I appreciate you watching. If you're subscribed, I appreciate it. Once again, if you made it this far in the video, I really, really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Give a like, make a comment. I do my best to answer all the comments. So until next time, I'm Random at Random Rod Shop, and we're gonna go find something to eat.